Hello sweet friends, welcome to another video. We're going to talk about monogamy and polygamy, and I'm going to give you my asshole, also known as my opinion on the matter based on my observations, reflections, contemplations, and experiences. Okay? So first of all, let me be clear. It is not right or wrong to do one or the other. Much in the same way that it is not right or wrong to eat junk food or to eat fruits and vegetables. You're not a bad person for eating a Big Mac, and you're not a good person for eating fruits and vegetables, and vice versa. Okay, you're just making certain choices which have their own karmic momentum. What do I mean? What is karma? Karma is very, very simply put, for every action, there is a reaction. It's not about punishment and reward, although that's what it seems like. And the punishment and the reward come from simply harmony, disharmony. See, fruits and vegetables are more harmonious with the human body than a Big Mac and a big jug of ice cream, let's say. One is more harmonious, so it seems that the law of karma is rewarding you by making you feel more vitality, and it seems that the law of karma is punishing you by making you feel lethargic, tired, exhausted after eating a junk food, Big Mac and a jug of ice cream. It seems like it, we call it with our human judgment, reward and punishment, good and evil. The law of karma in many ways is immoral. It just acts based on harmony, disharmony. Harmony, disharmony. Because cosmic love, also known as God, also known as consciousness, does not judge anyone. By virtue of everything existing, then it means cosmic love, source energy, allowed it to exist for this moment. So then, therefore, whether you choose to be polygamous or monogamous, or there's like a bazillion arrangements these days, it doesn't make you a good person, it doesn't make you a bad person. But in my opinion, based on my observations, reflections, which can be flawed just as much as the next person, there are certain actions that seems to me that are more harmonious and certain actions that seem to me more disharmonious. So therefore, let's discuss it now. Keep in mind, I'm going to continuously refer to the analogy of eating healthy foods and eating unhealthy foods. And not to get too complicated, let's all agree, healthy foods, fruits, vegetables, unhealthy foods, junk processed foods. Let's keep it that basic, okay, without getting too much into detail here, right? So, when you're having sex with somebody, and it really doesn't matter if it's love-based or not love-based. In this case, let's just say when you're having sex with somebody, and let's define sex as the intermingling of the bodily, of two bodies coming together. Let's just define it as that, because there is like tantric sex. It doesn't necessarily have to have a penetration aspect to it, or it could have a penetration aspect, but without ejaculation. That's what tantric sex is at its essence, is no ejaculation, right? So let's just say it's the coming together of two bodies in an intimate manner. All right? However, whenever, if there's kissing involved, touching involved, bodily fluids involved, right? Genitals coming together, the whole bodies. Let's just say that's what sex is. Anytime you're having sex with somebody, it doesn't matter which chakra you're coming at it from, doesn't matter if it's love-based or not, the fact is there's a coming together, there is an intense energy exchange going on in that chemical reaction, exactly and even more intensely than the chemical reaction and the merging, the bonding between you and the foods that you eat. See, that's why I want to continuously refer to it, because when you're eating something, your body is bonding with it. It's taking it, it's breaking it down to its micro level. It's going very micro, and it's absorbing certain nutrients, and it's exerting the waste, and it's a whole process, and it takes 24 hours. You know, for something to fully go inside the digestive tract and outside of it, it takes up to 24 hours, up to 48 sometimes, depending on the foods you're eating, and up to 72 hours in some cases. Certain foods, you know, it takes 2-3 days to exit fully the body, fully. Digestion, the elimination, the assimilation, everything. All right, so it's a process. It's a process of merging. And so when you're having sex with somebody, it's the same thing. There's an intense merging of energy, an energy exchange between you and another human being. Now, there is a big difference here, or a difference, let's say. If you ate a Big Mac and a big jug of ice cream, whatever waste is in that food can be out of the system within 3 days, because the body will just clean out the residue, and the mucus will come in to protect the membranes, and you know, eventually you'll clear out whatever toxicity you picked up. But when you pick up toxicity in the act of sex, see, that can stay with you. I'm talking on an emotional level, I'm talking on a physical level. You could pick up herpes, you know, sexually transmitted diseases, AIDS, which is with you for life, right? There is a cure out there, but, you know, still kind of with you for life. Your immune system is compromised. Until we come up with a technology, the ET technology, you know, we're coming into full cosmic disclosure. We're going to have a lot of technology coming up, but let's just talk about currently, right now. It's a high risk. You're risking a lot when you exchange energies with another person. And if not from a disease perspective, you pick up energy. So if that other person has stored traumas inside them, you can absorb, because you're like such an open conduit in the act of, because your conscious mind is totally gone. I mean, when you're having an orgasm, there's no more conscious mind. You're so in the moment. And that's the state that when you're most highly susceptible to suggestion. You see? So you become like just an open conduit. You'll pick up energy. So if that person has toxicity in any form or shape, if they have a lot of traumas and baggage and emotions that they have not yet dealt with and released from their body, guess who's picking that up? You're picking that up. You're picking that up. And it can take just one sexual encounter for you to pick up all this energy. In other words, you could very well be picking up, for lack of better terms, demons. You know, because there's these entities that latch onto us. Most human beings are possessed by some form of negative entity that's feeding off of their suffering and misery and causing them more trauma. And you could become possessed also. Now, there's the physical aspect of it, the parasites. There's an exchange of parasites also. And, you know, knowing what I know about that, I would say 98 to 100% of human beings have some form of parasites that are harmful based on all the food habits and how we've been raised to eat, and all these poisons that all these, you know, these malevolent people, these people that are running the world, they're putting in our foods and in our water. So then these parasites are also wanting to, you know, be fruitful and multiply. We talked about it in previous videos. Parasites tend to be Christians and God-fearing Christians, and they read the Bible and they want to be fruitful and multiply. So there is a lot of things happening when you're having sex with someone else. A huge amount of energy exchange that is much more intense than the energy exchange between you and the food you eat, because the energy exchange between you and the food you eat is very transient. The body can clean it up within 48 hours. If you ate a meal that is full of toxins, it can be out of the system within 2 days, within 48 hours. You could just do a water fast, 48 hours, and it's cleared, or a 24-hour dry fast, and boom, you cleared out the toxins. You get a fresh start right off the bat. But not the same can be said for the energy exchange that happens with another human being, because human beings are powerful conduits of energy. So you pick up all that energy, and then suddenly, like, you start to notice something's off with me. You pick up maybe on a new addiction. Maybe that person smokes cigarettes, and you've had sex with them for a few times, and you kind of just picked up cigarettes, after you've had sex. Maybe you've had a cigarette or two, and then there's a new demon. I mean, these entities, they feed off of these habits. People who are addicted to these things, next thing you know, a few weeks later, you don't see that person no more. That's it. You've parted ways, but you've picked up the habit of smoking. And that's one aspect of the energy exchange and certain energies and demons and entities that you can pick up. You see, not to mention all the emotions and the trauma that you pick up that goes on an unconscious level, subconsciously. You see? And the concern here is that the absolutely vast majority of human beings are traumatized, and they have traumas stored, and they have parasites due to all the toxins that they're picking up, and this should be easy for you to comprehend by now, due to the current events and all the stuff that's coming out about these Satan worshipping pedophiles that are running the world, that have been poisoning humanity. It's not hard for you to see now and understand that indeed the vast majority of humans are absolutely traumatized and possessed, and they've got some form of parasite or trauma or entities possessing them. So therefore, you've got all these traumatized human beings coming together and just further exchanging the traumas, the parasites, the demons, the entities, all that stuff, the emotions, which are all mostly negative, right? The earth is a sea of suffering. Humanity is a sea of suffering, you see? So then you've got all this exchange. So it turns out it's actually much more harmful, disharmonious, not bad, not evil, just it's much more disharmonious to engage in a polygamous, in a sort of a non-discriminatory polygamous behavior. It turns out that's more disharmonious than eating junk food every day. Right? Because again, the body will clean it up pretty quickly. You could do a fast and you could clean it out. But that stuff that you pick up, yeah, that could take you it can end up taking you years to clear out if you're not conscious enough. It could take you years. You may never even clear. You may pick up the habit of smoking, and that may stay with you for the rest of your life. And this is precisely why sex is so heavily pushed in the mainstream media. Who is running the mainstream media? Who owns it? Those Satan worshipping pedophiles that are running the world, that they want to see humanity continue to suffer. So then this idea of being cool in high school and having all the chicks or having all the guys and jumping from one guy to the next or from one girl to the next, right? Which is perpetuated by who? By Hollywood movies. Who runs Hollywood? Obvious, right? So this idea that has been perpetuated by the mainstream media, by the Hollywood movies, and by the TV shows, and by all of it, the glorification of the polygamous man, of the polygamous woman, and pushing that agenda in all as much of the mainstream outlets as possible, made everyone wants to do it, wants to be that cool guy, that cool girl. Porn, right? Porn. Okay, that's one of the biggest deep state institutions, porn. They run it in and out because they want this humanity to keep perpetuating, to keep spreading all this negativity, all these traumas, and all of that amongst one another. So it's can be very disharmonious to engage in a polygamous behavior non-discriminatorily. And I'm just I try to lay it out for you here. I try to lay out for you the logic and the contemplation that went behind all of this. You see? And if you're mixing energies with so many people, it's exactly like having a big buffet of, here's a Big Mac, here's a KFC, here is a big ice cream bowl, here is chocolate. Imagine having that. Now my teenage self would have will love nothing more than that. But you sit down and you eat all of that, and you're gonna be like food coma for the next, like, probably next 2 days, actually. Right? It's the same thing. If you're just having sex with whoever, and you're just gonna be non-discriminatory, and it's like, but much more intensely. It's like you're having a buffet of junk food, essentially, but junk food for the soul. Junk food for the mind, body, spirit complex that is you. And it becomes much more challenging to clean out all the demons that are picked up, all the traumas that are picked up, than it is to clear out that buffet. If you want to clear out all the residue, then just do a 3-day water fast after that buffet of junk food, and you'll be okay. You'll be all right. But it's not going to be just a 3-day solution if you're just having sex with whoever. And so as you could see then, it is disharmonious, in my opinion, to act in a polygamous manner in this society, in this day and age. Now, what if everybody was healthy? What if I was having polygamous relationships? What if I was engaged in a polygamous behavior, but with everybody's healthy here? Everybody eats healthy food, everybody's happy, everybody's feeling good. That's a lot better. Of course, that's a lot better than what are people in our society, the traumatized humans that are walking around. But a buffet is a buffet, and it's just so difficult for the body to digest, to take in all these different foods and digest them. It's overwhelming for the body, right? Again, their two analogies perfect, right? Even if you sit down, you have a bowl of almonds, a bowl of vegetables, a big salad with olive oil and lemon on it, and you've got fruits here. You've got dried fruits, right? You try to eat all these foods, you're not gonna feel good after. It's too complex, too much information, or information overload. You see? So even then, as opposed to sitting down eating one particular thing, sitting down and eating just mangoes, oh, easy, no problem, and they feel smooth and nice, and you really get to enjoy those mangoes. You go deep into those mangoes. You see, with having all these different dishes in front of you, you don't really enjoy them, because you're going from one taste to the next. You try this, you try that, you try this, you try that. But if you sit down and eat just one thing, you really go deep into that thing. You really enjoy those mangoes. Yummy. Oh, because it's the only thing you're eating. And it's so easy to digest, so simple. You're taking basic information. It's getting processed through your body, and it's getting easily assimilated and easily eliminated. No problem. You really be with it. And it's really, in my opinion, in my view, it's the same thing. If you have a partner that you have such perfect understanding with, and believe me, every shoe has a soul mate, right? No pun intended. Every pot has a cover. It's like the universe, everything is made for each other. Everything is perfect, right? If you go deep into this beautiful experience, this beautiful dimension of the human experience with one person, you could really go deep. You could really, really, really go deep with that person, right? But you may say, well, wow, don't you get bored? Like, I mean, don't you want to eat mangoes for the rest of your life? Well, again, this is more intense, in the same way that the exchange of energy with so many different people is much more, let's say, intense on you than eating a buffet of junk food. It's also, if you go really deep with a person, with one person, that's much more intense than going deep with the mangoes. I mean, the pleasure and the harmony and the love that you could harbor in such a dynamic can go much, much deeper. You know, it could just, I mean, I could say very simply, if your tank is full and if it's overfilling, why put in more gas, right? And you could go in so deeply with one person that your gas tank will be overfilling. And I mean, you wouldn't even want to put in, I mean, you have too much gas as is overflowing out of the tank. You wouldn't even think, the thought of you putting more fuel in it doesn't even exist. You see? And so that's my view, that's my perspective, which has, believe me, changed drastically over the years. drastically, drastically. Maybe I have some videos on this channel in the very, very initial stages of it, 2.5 to 3 years ago, where I was speaking and I was actually encouraging somewhat of a polygamous outlook on human sexuality, actually. And if you go deep enough in my videos and old enough, you may find them. You may find them, right? And maybe I didn't say it explicitly, but I was definitely at least implicitly implying. I was more of a fan of just being polygamous and experimenting and, you know, free love, like the hippies, right? The hippies were naive in many ways. That's why their movement did not succeed. They were naive. They had lots of great things, but there was a lot of naive behavior going on. So yeah, that idea of free love, I was a big fan of it. I was just fresh in my psychedelic experimentation, and I, you know, felt this like free love, and, you know, very much like not having gained wisdom yet into the human predicament and the human condition and how you could best navigate it in this day and age, right? So my opinion has changed over the years based on several reflections and based on several experiences that I had also. As I continued to experiment, several different experiences that I had, and I just felt like, you know, and as I got into Taoism, you know, that my favorite line, which I said over and over in these videos, never gets old: to become learned, gain daily; to obtain Tao, reduce daily. Reduce and reduce until all action is brought to non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. And it turns out a simple life, a content life, a happy life is really the ultimate grandiose prize. Contentment. Contentment. And if you're constantly looking to dip your feet into different waters, you're constantly trying to, you know, I wonder what sex would be like with this person, with that person, right? You know, that by default, by the very manifestation of such unfocused action, there's lack of contentment there, just by the virtue of the action itself. Going deep with one person, however, you can develop that contentment, that which is the most valuable. It's invaluable, actually. Contentment is so invaluable, and in fact, you want to practice contentment just by being alone, not even with anybody, really, not with a partner, nothing. That's the grandiose prize, by the way. It's just contentment for being, right? For being. And so that is why, in my opinion, in this day and age, a monogamous arrangement, and it's not for everybody. I know it's not for everybody. It just, for me, it seems like it's the most harmonious dynamic. Now, there is another huge reason that I haven't even talked about here for such a dynamic. And this one applies more so to the light workers. See, the light workers, the wanderers, the starseeds came here for a mission. We came here to elevate the consciousness on the planet. We came here to help the animals, to help the plants, to help humans that are in poverty, to help the weak, to expose the cabal. We all came here for missions. And most of you guys watching these are wanderers, starseeds, light workers. And that's your number one priority in life. It's your mission, your assignment. Your assignment. No, you know, you came here for an assignment. So being involved in several relationships, and human beings are very complex. If you're being involved with several different people, even if it's very discriminatory, and you handpick, you say, I'm in a relationship with 3 different women or 3 different men, and you handpick them, and you say, well, these are very healthy, we vibe, this and that. That's a lot of energy that has to go into the cultivation of these relationships here. See, and so you know, good luck taking on your mission with that. I mean, you're full time in those relationships, and human beings are complex, and chances are every single human being that you're dealing with, no matter how high they vibe, they've got their own baggage and they've got their own traumas, and you're gonna work it through. In a relationship where you just have one person and you're too focused on each other, you could help each other heal, elevate one another, and then you could come in a union and both fulfill your roles, your missions in this world together, help one another, have a unified mission. You see, so as a light worker, it seems to me like a no-brainer that is the most harmonious dynamic, specifically for a light worker that is here on a mission. You see, this is not for everybody. Monogamy is not for everybody. Polygamy is not for everybody. I would even argue that some people are cut for polygamy because maybe you know why I say that? Because perhaps they're here to sort out their karma. They're 3D human souls, and part of sorting out their karma in this lifetime is they have to sort it out with different people, and they may have to get in a polygamous dynamic just to sort out that karma, which in my opinion is still more difficult because you're dealing with so many different humans here, and it's like that can really like overwhelm you, right? And again, always back to the example of eating food. Again, it's you know, it's kind of, you know, a buffet of junk food, it's gonna give you like, it's gonna knock you out for like a couple of days, right? A buffet of healthy food is still gonna knock you out after. A simple food, a meal, a mono meal, now that's easy to digest, and you can go deep into it also, right? So that's like I said, my opinion on this has changed drastically over the years. Drastically. I mean, I went from, I would say, one opposite end to the other opposite, yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys. At the end of the day, not good or bad, there's the law of action and reaction. Always remember the law of karma. That's always acting at all times, 100%. It's not moral. It's not a moral law. It simply is the law. Karma is the law. So if you're engaging in indiscriminatory sex and you're taking all these different energies, there's a reaction for those actions. You see it? And so in the same way, if you're engaged with a person and you're really, really going deep in and you're exchanging all these loving energies, that action also has a reaction, which is going to be an uplifting reaction, a rewarding reaction, if you want to look at it as reward and punishment here. So I just wanted to share this, put it out there for you guys to think it through on your own. And I would like to thank all the Patreons and thank all the lovely people that donate on PayPal as well. I really, really appreciate you guys. If you enjoy these videos and you have a couple of bucks a month to spare, you can join the Patreon family, or you just want to donate any amount one time on PayPal. The links are in the description. Mwah. I love you guys. Instagram me at Saeed Mobayed. I post some cool stuff there, things to watch, documentaries, funny memes, etc. And until next time, may the force be with you.